Hey everyone, again, welcome to another episode of the Achievers Pod. And you know, on here, we bring to you tips, tools, and resources to help you achieve success in everything that you do. And if you guys know, we're starting a series where we are bringing in, diverse women who are really movers and shakers of their industries, experts who would like to share their journeys with us where we can learn one or two things from them, how they got started, what has helped them thus far, and what is next for them. And so today I am so excited because I have in the studio with me another awesome woman who is so fantastic and so loaded. She's a founder, she's an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and today we are going to be kind of hearing from her. She's going to be walking us through our journey, about our business. And that is no other person, the lady Ogola Lois Kange. Can you just put your eyes together? Awesome, awesome, awesome. I am super grateful. All right, ma'am. Welcome on to the Achiever Spot. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story.
Oh, thank you so much. So let me tell you guys, I know I didn't mention this before. She is the founder, the CEO of Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen, all right, in Nigeria. And she is doing amazing thing. That's not the only thing she does, but that is one of the main things that she does. And she's gonna really be sharing with us how this start, from the beginning, from the putting all of the ideas together, the vision and the journey so far. Because I always believe that if somebody can do it, sometimes we can learn from them. They always
Yeah.
say there is no need to reinvent the wheel again. So somebody has done it, they can just walk us through. So there is no need to struggle and stress about anything. All right, ma'am. So if you can just share with us little bit about yourself and little bit about Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen.
All right. Thank you so much again for the opportunity. I'm Ogola Lois Kange, as she has rightly mentioned, and I have the privilege of being the founder and CEO of Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen Limited. Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen Limited started our journey. Well, Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen, before it became limited, we actually were just Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen, a business
Mm.
name that began in Zaria, Kaduna State.
Oh,
And
wow.
it started just because God laid it on my heart after I finished my NYC and I had served. I read architecture from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. I had married that year, 2011, and I was redeployed to Zaria, where I finished my service, my primary assignment in the Department of Architecture. And I had just gotten married. I didn't want to be one of those women that, were just dependent on their spouses for everything. So
Mm.
I just was praying to God to, show me to, what to do and
Mm.
just direct me. And he laid it upon my heart to start what I love to do. I love to cook. I
Mm.
loved to, entertain. I always had the dream of having my own food business. And
Wow.
so that idea then was, to have a mobile kitchen that could deliver convenience to our customers at their doorsteps. And
Wow.
the name Smiley's actually was um, my husband that came up with the name. I told him my desire, what God had laid on my heart, and
Mm-hmm.
I was asking for a name. What do you think it would be good to call it? Just something happy, something smiley. And he was like, why don't you call it Smiley's? You know, like the emoji, but with a Z at the end of yours to
Uh-huh.
differentiate yours from the others. So that's how the name Smiley's was actually born. And since 2012, when I started that, it was very in our two-bedroom apartment. The idea was I would, just prep meals and have them ready for people to call and order, and we'll deliver them, just healthy home cooked meals to their doorsteps. That
Mm.
was the initial idea. And over time, God helped us. The business grew. We registered it as a business name in 2014. and we're running it till 20, about 2019. And, there were challenges along the way. I'm sure we'll delve more into that. But just as a brief, in 2018, we actually won what was called the Food Connection Challenge. And it was basically competition arranged by the Netherlands government.
Oh.
It was called the Food Collection Challenge, and the idea was calling on innovations that could reduce post-harvest losses,
Mm.
and to come and pitch their business ideas. And because we had been using so much tomatoes for our food business then, and we knew that tomato and tomato-based products are essential for food in Nigeria, and we had also experienced the challenges that not having sufficient tomatoes can bring. It's because we just cooking for the business, we would see that some seasons of the year tomato will be in abundance, especially in
Mm.
Zaria and Kaduna where we were located. And
Mm.
then some seasons of the year it's almost like skyrocket, triples the cost and all that. And
Mm.
so a friend showed me how to just pasteurize tomatoes in glass jars, which we're doing for the business, just to
Wow.
store for ourselves and use
Mm-hmm.
when tomatoes was not in season. And, when I saw the advert for the Food Connection Challenge, it just struck me that this could actually be an idea that could reduce post-harvest losses
Mm.
if the farmers are able to, process the tomatoes. It won't
Yes.
spoil on time. They can sell it year round. And so I
Mm-hmm.
applied for the competition. We won the Food Connection Challenge miraculously,
Yeah,
just
congratulations.
divinely, because we were very new. It was not our forte. We didn't have NAFDAC. We didn't have anything, about manufacturing or food processing per se. But we went through the 6 months accelerator. We won the challenge. We got the business grant of 20,000 euros. And that seed grant was what we used to
Wow.
just give structure to the business. We registered it as a business name in 2019. That's when it actually just metamorphosed from just being a food business delivering convenience to an agro-food processing business, reducing post-harvest losses. We registered this business name, set up its board, bought our first set of equipment, just got our space for processing and, started the NAFDAC registration and all that. That's so I would say from 2019 till date, that's what we've been doing at Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen. But it's been a long journey of
Long
ups and
journey.
downs and challenges along the way. Yeah.
Wow, Abi, this is truly amazing, just sharing you having that passion. I believe a lot of businesses, ideas start with a passion, or maybe when
Mm-hmm.
people see the need, and you just having that passion of, you know what? Number one, let me see what I can do to support my spouse, bring in some additional income in. I
Yeah.
know people always talk about what we may bring to the table, what we may bring to the table, and you are way just ahead of people, just like, okay, I'm married and all of that, but what better way can I support my husband and even support myself as well? Because as women, sometimes we don't want to see ourselves as a burden, but we want to see ourselves as the helpmeet that the Lord has called us to be, from the
Yeah.
onset. And then you have that passion. You love to cook, and just thinking about this idea that I have, the passion that I have, why don't I just turn it into business and just make homemade food and offer convenience to people? I mean, that is amazing. That is amazing. And then from the journey, talking about, there were some rough patches because everything didn't come out to be so glamorous the first day you set out. It's been a journey since
Yeah.
2012 until 2018 and 19, you getting the award. So I just really want you to share with people when you started, how the journey was like, because uh it's not easy to start a business. Sometimes we have people telling, hear some things from people telling you, are you sure that is what you want to do? You that just graduated from college at Bello University, you studied architecture, and now you want to be in food business. So how do you kind of overcome some basic challenges, as you get started?
It was not easy. I wouldn't lie to anybody. I would not tell anybody that is not passionate and
Mm,
has this vision to go into entrepreneurship, because it's not for everybody. It's a journey that can be very difficult and very challenging. If
mm,
you don't have an inward motivation beyond the fact that you want to make money, when
mm,
you meet these challenges, you would definitely give up along the way, because entrepreneurship is a tough journey. I wouldn't lie to anybody that's going to go into entrepreneurship. There were days when, you know, at the very beginning, we would make this food and
mm.
literally have to just eat it and share it with our neighbors because we wouldn't have patronage.
Wow.
And I was doing that from my two-bedroom apartment, our little
Mm,
kitchen there, and sharing the one vehicle we had with my husband. I think I was pregnant at the time, just having to maneuver all that. And it was not an easy journey, but one thing that really kept me pushing was I knew that there was more. I knew
mm,
that there are opportunities out there. And one thing I started from the onset, and which I would advise, startups to really do, is to put yourself out there and to, keep seeking opportunities to better yourself. So
mm,
from 2012, so 2014, I started in 2012, then 2014, when, we were able to register as a business name. I was always looking for opportunities. There was a time when there was UWIN by the Nigerian government. It was,
mm,
just a competition for businesses to apply and get grants. I applied for UWIN 1. I didn't get selected. I applied for UWIN 2. I didn't get selected. I still applied for UWIN 3, and that was when I was selected. And even when we're selected
mm,
to get the grant funding after all the trainings and everything, I was given a grant that was so small. I think they gave me, the first award was like 1 point something million. And I was like, this idea is much bigger than that. We need to rent a space. We need to get delivery vehicle. It was just not going to be okay. And, I was still persistent in pushing, and they upgraded that amount. I think the next, after reviewing our application,
mm,
they opted to like 7 million. So that was actually the first ever grant we got for the business.
wow.
And that was, it just showed me, after, persisting and getting that, it showed me that, okay, with resilience, with working hard, you can
Mm,
achieve greater things. And then, we're able to get another, we applied for another program, which was the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program, TIP.
mm,
That was a really good one because there were lots of training then. It's called TEF now, and they've been on for, I think, since then. I'm not sure if they still won this year, if they had one, but they've always been there giving grants of $5,000 to small businesses. And for us, we got that $5,000 and we're able to get our delivery vehicle. So our first delivery vehicle was with the TIP grants.
mm,
So I would say from 2014, when we registered the business, till this very day, every single year we have tried to work at seeing what we can achieve. What's the next
yes.
thing that we can achieve as a business? So even when we had challenges of, okay, the business, I didn't even mention that at some point I had got a lecturing job.
Oh,
I wanted to lecture just like my husband. He was a lecturer, and I wanted to lecture. And because I didn't get the lecturing job, I also started the food business. And eventually the lecturing job came, but it came when I had already started the business. So
business.
I was trying to manage that. And that's also the dynamics of trying to have the work and life balance, because you
Balance.
have your family to cater for, you have the business to run, and then I added the dynamics of also being a lecturer, and I had to move from Zaria to Kaduna. The whole dynamics was a bit tricky, and the business suffered at that time. And at that really strategic time in the life of the business, we also, in that process of moving and transitioning between Zaria and Kaduna, we had the opportunity to participate in, I had the opportunity to come to the United States and participate in the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And just having this privilege of exchanging ideas with young African leaders from all over the
Mm,
sub-Saharan Africa, relating with businesses and entrepreneurs in the United States. I had the privilege of having my Mandela Washington Fellowship experience in the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. And that was really for a few months where they took care of us, had this privilege of interactions and visiting businesses. It just opened my eye, and so I saw that beyond what we're doing with, like home cooked fast food, we could do much more. So when we saw this opportunity by the Netherlands government, because I had this, background, and it really, pushed me to take that leap of faith and be able to adapt the business. Because at some point we moved from Zaria to Kaduna, the business really struggled with paying overheads, paying for a location on a busy street in Kaduna, but we're not breaking even. And at some point, a friend told me, I know Smiley'z is your baby, and you feel like this is something you've grown from the scratch, but you have to tell yourself the truth. If this is not working the way it is, you need to, come up with a different strategy. And all those experiences and challenges just shaped whatever it is that we're able to, it was able to help the business evolve to where it is today. So I wouldn't tell you that the journey of entrepreneurship is one that's going to be easy, but one thing is for certain: when you have this desire, whatever it is from God, you're not just looking at what you're getting for yourself, but of course the lives that you're affecting. Because we're always passionate about women. Even when we're very small, we're always, training women. My own idea was, if I can do it, other women can do it. So even if we're learning to bake pastries, make meat pies, I can train other women to do this meat pies. And so a key component of what we've always done at Smiley'z is about also training other women to be able to do it. And so when you look at, beyond yourself to other people that you're impacting, the motivation is greater and it keeps you moving forward, even when there are challenges. One of the things that kept me going, even when I wasn't paying myself from the business for years, I was still, using my salary back then to fund the business. It just kept me motivated that, see, there are people that have their daily bread from this business. If I throw in the towel, what happens to them? So that's inner motivation beyond just the money that you're making will really keep you going, weathering the storms and moving forward.
Wow. I mean, that is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. Business, though, when people set out, I mean, as a business person myself, and having talk and deal with business people, we always look at the bright side of business, right? We always look at the money we are gonna be making, the flexibility, the independence, the freedom, and all of that. And most of the time, we don't pay keen attention to the cons of it, to the challenges, to the time that you will have, excuse me, to the time that probably you will not be able to eat, that sometimes we have sleepless night, that your mind will be thinking ahead of you and different things. But then, like you said, the motivation comes at looking at the people whose life has been transformed. I have a home care agency, and I say one of the things that I enjoyed most is like every week when I run payroll for people, that just gives me joy that through what I am doing, I am in a position to kind of help other families, help women, help their families put food on their table, have a shelter, over their head and all of that. So the motivation, most of the time, it kind of goes way beyond the pain and the struggle. And I believe one thing that you said, you talk about your faith, how that really encourages you. And I really want you to share on that. I am a person of faith, and I know you are a person of faith. And I always believe, I mean, and this is me, all right, guys, I always believe that as a believer, that we Christians, we have an edge over other people. That is my belief. All right. So I want you to just kind of just talk about how your faith, all right, has helped you, especially in the days that the business is not going well, in the days that you're using your own personal money to fund the business, in the days that probably people are like, Are you sure that this is what you want to do? Do you think you should just quit this and just do some other things? So how has your faith impacted this journey of entrepreneurship so far?
For me, just like you rightly said, I feel like as a child of God, I have an edge because I have a father who cares,
Hmm,
who is intentional about me and everything, every aspect of my life.
hmm,
And the conviction that his love, surrounds me every single day and every single moment. And nothing, absolutely nothing happens to me without his permission,
hmm,
without his foreknowledge, and without him able to work something out for good and for his glory from it. It's one of, the things that has kept me really, really going. I would share with you a personal experience.
hmm,
Um, we started, just when the business was set on an upward trajectory in 2019. In
hmm,
June was when we registered the business as a limited liability company and we set up a board. And of course, one of my strongest and most loudest cheerleaders has always been my husband.
hmm,
And in 2019, or December 2019, um, while he was on his way home back to Kaduna, he was lecturing at the Federal University Lafia. He was
mm-hmm.
coming back to Kaduna, where we were based, myself and the kids, and he used to shuttle between the two states. And he had an accident, and it was a bad accident. He was driving, and he
Wow.
sustained spinal injuries, and eventually he
Wow.
passed away a few
Oh,
days later. That
sorry.
was really a devastating blow on me
Devastating. Oh,
personally.
gosh.
And it was at that point I felt like, my world has ended, my life has
Hmm.
ended. Here I was, in my 30s,
Wow.
with young children,
Children.
three
Wow.
young children. How was I going to move forward?
Move
It
forward.
just,
Wow, that's
when you
tough.
meet with tragedies like that, it shakes you and it just
Yes,
changes your
shake you to the
worldview.
core.
At
Yes.
that point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do anything else with my life. I
Hmm.
wasn't sure I could do anything, not lecturing, not business, nothing. And but at that point, at my lowest point,
Hmm.
I still went to God and I just asked him, Lord, I'm just helpless. I'm
Hmm.
hopeless. I'm at my wit's end. I feel like, this is the end. But you know everything about me. Show me what you have me do. Like, show me the way forward. And in those dark periods, within a very little while, he began to put in me, the zest for life again. He
Hmm.
began to put in me the desire to get up again.
Hmm.
And I started having clarity on what he wanted me to do.
To do.
I was so certain that I didn't want to go back to lecturing. I didn't want to put myself back into architecture. And that was very defining for me
Hmm.
because at that
Hmm.
point,
Hmm.
I put in my letter of
Condition.
resignation, even though that was, later I was advised to make that a leave of absence. But of course, after taking that 2 year leave of absence, I was already certain that I was not
Hmm.
going to continue lecturing in architecture. So I left that space. But in that, short while after my husband passed, God puts again the desire to go back to my business.
Hmm.
And within about a month, almost exactly a month of my husband's passing, of his burial actually,
Hmm.
um, we actually, in collaboration with, I think it was TechnoServe Nigeria at the time, and some other sponsors, were able to, um, do a training for women in cottage processing. And that was
Wow.
really, really impactful.
Hmm.
We trained a number of women at that time. And just the fact that God could pick me up in
Hmm.
such a short time and
Hmm.
put back that zest in my heart for life and to be able to continue what he has called me to do, impacting the lives of women, just working on reducing post-harvest losses in the agricultural space. That was really very, very life-changing, and it just showed me that with God on my side, I'm able to weather any storm. I'm able to face whatever challenge life brings. And I wouldn't tell you it's been smooth sailing, but I can tell you without an iota of doubt that God has consistently, faithfully kept his word of, helping us scale hurdles and grow in the business.
Amen. Wow, wow. I mean, that is an amazing, amazing story because, like we said, being a person of faith, sometimes we get to a point where we feel like we have no strength anymore, where we feel like we cannot continue anymore, where we feel like, you know what, this everything should just end sometime, or you just really at a loss. But then thank God for God that just give you the strength, even at that point where you don't even know what to do next. Somebody you see as your cheerleader, somebody you kind of, that will be there for you, maybe to just kind of pour out your heart to him and be like, this is how the day has been. It's been crazy, it's been this, it's been that, but just not having that support anymore. I mean, it's just life shattering, but at the same time, we thank God that those lowest moments of our lives that he always come through and just helping us to navigate, those situations and helping us to be able to do more, because I know sometimes when things like that happen, a lot of people, we get to the point of like, they don't even want to continue anything anymore, it kind of turn things other way around. But we thank God for you, for that faith, and for him, coming through for you. That is
Yeah.
amazing. And I remember, about 5 years ago when my dad passed unexpectedly as well. It was like, it was just like, what is the point? Like, somebody you see as your cheerleader, somebody you always look forward to, somebody you are always like, if it's there, I'm okay, like, okay, as long as you're here with me, oh, I can do and undo. But when that wall is kind of broken and shattered, then you just feel like you are really so vulnerable and so helpless. But we want to thank God that through the storm, through the challenges, and through the situation that are so very unpleasant, that he always come through. And I want to thank God for you, for your resilient spirit, and also for not giving up, and seeing that, since then you've been able to touch so many lives, affect so many women, help a lot of women, for them also to be able to live a fulfilled life, for them to be able to realize their vision, their dreams, and their goals. All right, so guys, I have in the studio with me an amazing woman. Yes, Ogola Lois Kange. That is the founder and the CEO of Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen. We are not done yet. So when you were talking earlier on, because I know when you started the Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen, the goal is to offer homemade food at very convenient for people, so that especially for busy women, busy family, you have children, you have all of that, that at least you don't have to worry about food. But then as the business continues, you find out that one of the main ingredient that you use, the tomatoes that you guys use, because it's a seasonal product. So there are times it's going to be abundant, and then there are times that it's like it's so hard to find, and the prices is like double, triple what it used to be. And then you devise another means of pasteurizing this in a jar and saving that. And that is really a mind blowing. And I'm going to let you really talk about that, because sometimes when we start business, we are focusing on one thing that we want to do, but then in the process, some things begin to unveil. And sometimes some things that can be a challenge, we are able to see how we can turn that challenge now into a blessing. So I really want you to talk a little bit about how you get to that point of, pasteurizing the tomatoes and really helping a post-harvest season. Please share a little bit more on that to really help other entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah, so that's really interesting because the truth is that once you start a business, you like the idea, you love it. That's why you started it. Like you have to have some form of liking for what it is that you're doing that made you start, right? But you have to also be open to the fact that as much as you like it and love your business idea, the world is dynamic and it's changing. And so you should have the ability, you should have the ability to adapt and change
And
with the
change,
changing times.
adapt and change. Oh,
Yeah.
pause a little bit. Okay. Guys, if you are listening, I want you to pay close attention to this. All right. She's talking about being able to adapt because things are going to change. The economy is going to change. Certain things that we are used to is going to change. And if you look at the landscape of things now, we are talking about technology today. 20 years ago, it was not like that. Even 10 years ago, now we have all these different social media, different outlets to really amplify our voices that before those things were not there. But she's talking about when you seek something, how you are able to adapt, able to change, able to modify, that you are not just so set on it has to be this way or no other way. All right, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Please continue on that. I love that.
Yeah, that's okay. And so, just knowing that in your business, you should be, adaptable, like I said. And when you see that there is a need, you should be a business that listens to your customers. Listen to the pain points of the people that you are serving. Because you're doing this, you are essentially serving your customers. So be willing to listen to their pain points and see how you can come up with solutions for that pain point. We're listening business. And so we come up with products that meet the needs of our consumers, our customers. As much as we are reducing post-harvest loss, because what we are doing is helping the farmers not to lose income. Because essentially what was happening was these farmers spend money, time, labor, invest all that in producing tomatoes. Tomatoes is perishable.
Yes.
Aside the fact that before a lot of us started getting into that space, a lot of these farmers didn't know how to use, good seedlings or, climate smart agricultural processes that will make the tomatoes have a slightly longer, life before it becomes, goes bad. And so what we were doing was essentially helping the farmers. So we're not only, of taking for them and processing, pasteurizing and selling in, to customers in retail stores and supermarkets, but we're also training the farmers. Most of them that we work with are women. So we're training these farmers, giving them the best way to farm, the best methods to use, climate smart agriculture and all that. And that already helps them. And then, some other solutions like, bringing in renewable plastic crates as against the raffia palm baskets that they use, which was also causing some losses in transit in transporting this tomatoes from farm to the consumers or to the markets. We're cutting off the middlemen because we're directly relating with the farmers and so helping to bring down the prices. But we're also realizing, so the first thing we did was we started out with tomato paste. So it was simple, 100% plain tomatoes. The simple tomatoes as a woman, you would boil, blend, and, have to make your stews, your sauces, and all that. It's that same tomatoes in a jar, no additives, no preservatives. But we're also listening, and our customers were like, this is good, this is novel. It keeps the taste of the tomato, so it doesn't, taste like tomatoes that have been frozen in the freezer, and it also doesn't, taste like those tomato paste that have, all kinds of additives and colorings and starching them. So it's good. But when we buy this your tomatoes, we'll still have to blend onions, peppers, and all that. And so, we still have work to do. And so we listened and came up with another product, which was tomato and tatache, which is, similar to the stew paste, which we later came about with. And that was also a combination of not just tomatoes this time, but also peppers and onion, so that when you pick up a jar or you pick up, one of, these jars of our products, you can use it without having to go and start sourcing for your pepper. So all you needed to add was probably your chicken stock and your seasoning powder and whatever, and fry it. And within a few minutes, it's good to go. So we're listening, but we're also listening. Some of them were like, jars are expensive. They can break in transit, they are fragile and all that. Can't you have something else that, helps us better? And we came up with, using pouches, aluminum foil pouches, which are handier, they don't break easily, less weight in transit and all that, and also caters for the need of, because glass already essentially makes the product kind of a niche product, but also bringing down the cost for the customer. So we keep listening and adapting, bringing up, new products, and that will cater for the needs of our customers. So essentially all that I'm saying, all this to say that as an entrepreneur, you have to listen to the pain points of your customers and the people that you're serving, and come up with solutions to their problems. And that's where you can keep being relevant in the space.
In the market space. Thank you. Because there are so many other businesses, companies that are doing the same thing that you're doing. And what set you apart and what helps you to kind of keep your customers and even have a loyal base of customers is, like you said, is by listening to them. So if somebody comes to you, buy a product for you and give you a feedback or ask certain things, that you pay attention, that you are not just like, this is what we're doing. Is either you take this or go somewhere else, but kind of listening to their pain point and then try to meet the needs where they are. I mean, and I think that is genius, for all the business people out there. Take time to listen to your customers, either one-on-one, either kind of like sending like a survey to them. You want to hear from them, because if you are not meeting their needs, they are going to go somewhere else. And I always say it is so it's cost effective to keep the customers you have than to keep scouting for new customers. It's really going to cost you more. But one thing you guys have done so well is listening to your customers. And as you're listening to them, not just to listen to them only, but you are implementing all the things you are hearing from them. Talking about just going from the tomato paste and now to actually a stew paste where everything is included. So guys, as a Nigerian person, when we cook a meal, there are certain way we cook. We have something we call a stew, where you can use to eat different things, to eat rice, to eat yam, to eat whatever, or even to eat swallow. So just having a paste is not enough, because you still need like the bell pepper, you still need all those cayenne pepper, all of that. But they went from just having a just tomato paste. If you go to the store, you see tomato paste, but they didn't stop there. They did not put all of the ingredients together, so that if you want to make a stew, maybe you are having a guest come in, and instead of you trying to get all of the little pieces, ingredients together, you can just take either a jar or a pouch. And she said the listen, because when they were using the jar, sometimes the cost is a little bit, high, because we are using a glass bottle. It's a little bit high, and people telling them that in the process of moving them from one place to another, something can drop, can break, and that is a loss. So they come up with another mean, and we actually kind of reduce the price using a foil pouch for that, which is now very, very handy. So I really I love that. And also at the same time, they are building and they are strengthening the relationship that they have with the farmers and even with the customers, the consumers. They're just like a blend of everything. And I think that is something that actually helping them to grow, to grow, to grow today. So uh, I'm going to, and I want you, ma'am, to really share, because I know some of the things that has helped you to talk about grants and how that has opened doors for you. You talk about the Food Connection Challenge. You talk about the Nelson Mandela Fellowship and all of that. So I really just want you to really speak a little bit about that, how new business owners can take advantage of that. Is it worth pursuing? And if so, what are the things they can put together, or what are the things that can help them so that they can be accepted? And I know you did mention there's one award you tried to do the first time, the second time, and until the third time before you get it. So I just really want to kind of explain how, people can take advantage of that, what they need to do. Do they need to give up after the first trial? Please share a little bit more on that.
Sure. So I would advise every startup, anybody that's going into business and trying to start up, to be somebody that's willing to work hard, put in the work. So sometimes we want things to happen very easily, very quickly, but it's not always like that in life. You have to put in the work, make sure you're diligent, and you're also a person of integrity. So for me, I would say that first off, start setting your house in order. So once you start a business, start thinking about the various licenses and registrations you need to do. And you can start with your business name. Like from our own experience, we
To
started with a
formalize
business name
everything.
before we moved on to a limited liability company. So yeah, start having those licenses, the various permits that you'll be needing for the kind of business that you're running and all that. Do your homework, do your research, be diligent about doing the homework, and also put yourself out there. There's what I learned years ago called the lean startup methodology. And that was essentially about using the smallest amount of resources to get, maximum output. And you can start with very little, just make sure you know what essentially. Don't start, okay, I want to sew a cloth, and then the first thing you're thinking about is renting a space. You can start with just your sewing machine. I've even seen people starting with thread and needle, to get the clothes ready. And put yourself out there. Let people, even your friends and family can be your first customers. Start putting yourself out there, give yourself some leverage to have visibility so people see what you're doing, so that when there are opportunities, they see you posting on your WhatsApp status of the, cute dresses you're making or that tomato paste that you're processing. The next time they're looking for that dress or that tomato, they're thinking of you because you put yourself out there,
Yeah.
When they see opportunities like that, they'll be quick to send them your way. And when you see these opportunities, it's not always very easy. Sometimes these applications, they take long to write. And people don't are not so interested in how much you can do. They want to know how much you are impacting other people. So one thing that you should think about when looking for grants and opportunities like that is to think about the impact that you are making on the lives of others beyond yourself and beyond making money. Is there an environmental impact? Is there a social impact? Is there something beyond you that your business is doing for others? That's very important. Another thing that's important, like I said, I failed a number of times, but I didn't let my failure stop me. When you fail, right? It's not how you fail, but how you're able to pick yourself up. Go back to the drawing board and look at, what did I do wrong? And what can I do better next time, so that you don't repeat the same mistakes? So look at the application you wrote that wasn't accepted. What did you do wrong? What did you do right? What can you do better? So that's very key, just being able to check out what you can do differently from what you did before, what you can make better. Work hard at it. Look out for people in that industry, in that space. Be willing and diligent. As Christians, we talk about discipleship.
Yes.
In the business space and other spaces, we think about mentorship. Look for people that you can sit under, that can coach you, that you can learn from. You don't know it all. So be willing to learn, be willing to invest in learning, Learning never stops. Like as I am today, I am still, as we have not gotten there by no shots. We have not gotten to where we are supposed to be. And so we are still going through various levels of coaching, mentorship or mentoring and trainings that will make us better. So then never get to the point where you feel like you've arrived and you cannot improve on yourself. No, there is always room for growth and improvement. So if you see trainings that are being organized, some of these trainings are organized for free,
Yes.
So you can take advantage of that and, get yourself equipped for all that you're doing and work hard, keep search. Some of our young people would have, access to data that just spend hours scrolling and
Social
not really
media.
getting anything useful from it. But you can actually search for useful things that you can apply to. And I stumbled on something recently that talked about, you being able to give yourself milestones. Say for every week, I want to achieve one thing. This is what I want to, or this is what I've achieved this week, or this is what I've achieved this month, or this is what I'm going to achieve. Don't wait for the year to run out before you say, okay, yeah, start by those little milestones so that by the end of the year, you may not have achieved all, but at least with those little baby steps, you see that even if it's reading a book. So I set out to master this field and I say, okay, every month I'm going to, read a book. And the reading is easier now because you can read aloud, some apps help you do that. And if you set out to just reading a few pages every day, before you know what, in a week you would have finished the book. In a month you would have, or in a month you would have finished the book. So there are baby steps and milestones you can take to achieving that, but you have to be diligent. And of course, for me, I would say trust God to renew your strength and to keep you moving forward. When you have setbacks, go back to God, go back to the drawing board.
Wow, wow, wow. Those are amazing, amazing tips, guys. And I'm really just going to recap some of the things that she said, especially if you are trying to, get some grants, try to get some fundings for your business. It just not only one way. Earlier on, she shared about some of the grant that she has gotten that has helped her to really scale the business. And you can do the same. If she can win a couple of these awards, that means that you can do it as well. And some of the things that she talked about was like, putting your papers in order. All right, put your house in order. You want to formalize things. You want to make sure that, all of your processes, you have a right structure for whatever it is that you are doing. And number two, she talks about put yourself out there. I always say you want to be the face of your business. I mean, except if there is any conflict with that, but you are the brand, especially if you are just starting up. People may not have heard of your business, but they're hearing from you, they're seeing you. Then they can associate that your face, with your business. Put yourself out there. Go different places. Let people know that yes, you are in this to win. And she talked about, sometimes we look for the finished products. We want everything on a grand style, on a big scale, but she said you can start small. Earlier on she said she started Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen from the 2-bedroom apartment. If you remember, right, before they moved out, got the space and all of that. So you don't want maybe space or anything to be a barrier. Start from where you are, from one simple thing that you can afford. And she mentioned a book, Lean In. All right, that book is available if you want to go and you can study that book, or you can just Google it online. Talking about, start with the small things that you have that will be able to help you to have a really massive output. So don't say because I don't have this, then I will not be able to do whatever it is. I remember I had the lady that I was, she came over to me. I was like, oh, I need some help in this. She's looking at different options of things to do. I'm like, okay, what do you do? I mean, like, and she was like, she say, a photography. and she has did a photo shoot for big companies, showcasing products, showcasing people. So I'm like, so if you are a photographer, why don't you take advantage of that? I say, I know people that people want to take photos either for business, or maybe people are doing they're doing bridal shower, baby shower, different events. And being that I'm in Houston, I'm like, and every weekend there are like 3, 4, 5 events happening on the same days, and they're looking for photographers. And she was like,
Mhm.
"Where I don't have a studio." I'm like, "But do you have a house?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." I said, if you're doing photo shoots, you can use a space in your house, or you can actually go to people's offices. And I was sharing my experience. I did a photo shoot, and the person we just did nature. And all he did was just look for a nice location, and I just drove there. It was outdoor. And she was like, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yes." And if there are people that need studio, I said there's some places you can rent, either an hour, 2 hours, and we begin to think outside of the box. And she's so amazing. But thank you for sharing that, because sometimes those are the traps that we trap a lot of businesses, ideas, and be like, oh, I didn't have this, and so I cannot do this. But what is it that you have right now? What is it that you can afford? So those are really, guys. So make sure you take note, okay? And we are going to be wrapping up now. So, ma'am, I really just want you to share what is next for Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen. What is next for you guys? What are you guys aiming towards? And then after that, I'm going to ask you to just kind of, give a word of encouragement or inspiration to the women out there who want to pursue business.
So yeah, we believe great things are ahead for us. And
Yeah.
Smiley's, we are working on a number of projects at the moment. God has been so kind to us to give us partners that are pushing us to do great things.
Oh,
And I'm just so
awesome.
excited about the next phase for Smiley's. Um,
Awesome.
where I don't want to let all the cats out of the bag just yet, but
Yes,
we have
okay.
quite a number of projects lined up for
Thank God.
this year that we are working on. But one thing that I can say for certain is that our focus in this new season that we are moving into is, um, meeting the needs of the base of the pyramid. Okay,
Mm.
so we are targeting, what's happening in Nigeria. You know how the economy is.
Oh my
So
God.
our
Yes.
focus moving forward is so far we have served our clientele in the upper and middle class.
Mm-hmm.
And now we want to focus because, of course, we sell our products in ShopRite stores in Nigeria. So bigger stores where
Mm.
that people that can afford glass jars, which we'll still continue doing. But in this new dispensation that we're moving into as a business, we are looking at impacting the rural farmers, these
Mm-hmm.
women farmers that we're working with, helping them to do more, and also impacting the consumers at the
Mm.
base of the pyramid.
Mm.
So beyond what we are doing currently, we want everybody to be able to afford our products. So we are moving in that direction in the
Wow.
new dispensation, and just as a whole, just making sure that we are impacting more lives, blessing more people, and reducing post-harvest losses in as much um, as we can. Beyond, I didn't tell you about our other products. We have other products beyond the tomato value chain. We're also working, we do granolas, and so those
Mm.
ones are snacks, kind of
Mm-hmm.
healthy snacks for high end there and all that. But we have different things that we're working on. And but one thing that we know for sure is in this new dispensation, there's going to be more focus on people at the base of the pyramid so that everybody can afford good food. Nobody deserves to go to bed hungry.
Hungry.
And so we're just looking at doing more to be able to make sure that even when prices of tomatoes and other things in the agricultural value chain skyrockets, we have products that maintain a stable price year round
Mm.
that do not necessarily need refrigeration so that
Mm.
people that don't have access to consistent power supply have products that are shelf life stable and all that, and are able to, meet their food needs through the year. So that's our new, what we're looking at doing in the future. And beyond, we hope that in a few years to come, we will not just be working in Nigeria, would have, scaled much more, exporting our products to other countries as well.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. You know that everybody have access to good, healthy, and quality food, whichever way they're able to do it. And I think one of the main thing that I love about, all this thing that you're doing is about kind of reducing our post-harvest losses, especially with those farmers, like we know that these are products that are seasonal, and that when we have them, what are we doing with all these mass production, knowing that there will be a time that we won't even have as much as this. And I think that is very, very big. That is huge. So thank you to Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen for what you are doing. We are really I'm super excited. I'm super excited. And guys, we are going to be putting all of the information in the description. If you want to connect with her, if you want to learn from her. And I'm trusting that very soon, again, we're going to have another session with her. And we are also trusting that we are going to be featuring her in our magazine, the Achievers magazine. These are great women who really, beyond the passion, beyond just the monetary gain, but they're looking at how they're impacting lives, touching lives, helping people to have food on their table, not going on an empty stomach to bed. These are amazing. I'm truly grateful to you, ma'am. And so, Miss Ogola Lois Kange, before we wrap up, I really just want you to just give one or two tips to women out there who have passion for business, or who already are in business, but then maybe the business is going through some challenges. So just kind of encourage them, from where they are right now, for them moving on and moving forward.
Yeah, so my final thoughts and advice for anybody that's going through, challenges in their business, just working, I would say, please don't give up. Be a person of integrity in everything that you do. Put God first. The Bible tells us, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you. Once you're seeking God, seeking to bring him glory in everything that you do, in every facet of your life, he's able to order you and he'll direct your steps, right? So seek first God's kingdom, be a person of integrity. Don't be shy about working hard. I personally am somebody that no aspect of my business is out of, arm's length for me. I involve myself in every nitty-gritty part of the business because we are servants. We're serving others. When you see yourself as the chief servant, you'll be able to do much more when you're serving, when you have the mindset of service other than just gaining. And one thing I also want to advise you to do is, please do not despise the value of research in your business. So one thing that many businesses fail to do is doing research. So doing research is not just about, it's not something academic, right? It's information that every business needs. Even right before you even start, before, that idea is comes to fruition, you can decide to do surveys to seek out just how relevant, because some people love something and they just jump into it without even knowing whether this thing is actually relevant, is going to meet the needs and all that. So exactly. So it's very essential that you're always doing research to know whether you are actually meeting the needs, and if the price points are right, if your business is still relevant, if your business is still keeping up with the trends and all that. And research also helps you, opens your eyes up to other opportunities beyond what you were focused on
Hmm.
just so there's so much. That's another topic. As if you go to my LinkedIn page, there's so many collaborations we've done with resources that could also lead you in the right direction. So, and that would be like another whole long topic, just delving into that. But I would say, please do not despise the value of doing research, and
Hmm.
even if it's just simple Google surveys from time to time, Google forms that you create to just help you know where you're at in your business and help you connect with your customers. That's very, very important. And like I said, seek God first, put Him first, and by His grace, He will direct your path.
Amen. Amen. Oh. What a session. What a session. She has ended us on a very, very high note and on a good note. I'll seek God first. Do your research. Do your research, okay? And don't as the business is getting into your head, try to gather information so that you are not just starting out blindly. At least you have some information, and continue to do ongoing research as well. Like she said, and she talks about, get your hands dirty even with the business, get to know your business, be involved, be actively in there. So those are a few things that she said, don't give up. Don't give up. The journey may not look like what you envision right now, but if you can just stay in a little longer, you can be persistent and be resilient. Before you know it, you're going to weather this storm and you're going to land onto the other side of success. So it has been an amazing, amazing time, having her around here. So thank you so much.
My
Thank you, Mrs.
pleasure.
Ogola Lois Kange, for this time and for just really pouring out your heart. And we wish a Smiley'z Mobile Kitchen a huge success. And we wish
Amen.
yourself a
Amen.
huge success. So thank you
Amen.
for your time. Thank you for sharing with the audience. So thank
My
you so
pleasure.
much. We are very, very grateful. So, guys, we're going to be putting all of the information in the description. If you want to connect with her, the information is going to be there. If you want to be part of what she's doing, if you want to become a partner, if you have a store in Nigeria, you want to distribute, the products that they have to offer, all of the information we're going to put in the description so you can connect with them. So thank you again, everyone. This is Achievers Pod. This is Victoria Showme, fondly known as First Lady V. Thank you for spending your time with us today. And I know this has added value to you, has inspired you, has motivated you, and you are ready to roll. So if you need any assistance, you need further information, any inquiry, please don't hesitate to reach out to you. We see you again. Have an amazing day. God bless you. We love you.